Here with actor Jeremy Shada. How are you?
Very good. How are you, man?
Good. In New York for Comic-Con. You got a busy 4 days, huh?
Yes, it's an insane 4 days. I'm running around like a headless chicken, going from like thing to thing to thing for all the different shows and everything. So it's nuts.
This is not your first Comic-Con, is it?
No. I'm a veteran of Comic Cons by this point. I've done San Diego probably 5 times or 6 times. This is my, I want to say, 3rd or 4th New York Comic Con, I think, and then I've done like quite a bit in like other countries and stuff, and quite a few around the U.S. and stuff here and there. Whenever I have time off from work and whatnot, just to see the fans and stuff and to travel, it's a lot of fun.
Perfect. When did you first decide you wanted to be an actor and also get into voice?
I started acting when I was about 5 or 6 years old, so pretty young. We lived in LA, and I just always kind of loved watching movies and TV shows as a kid, and so I always had this interest in it. And so because we lived there, I knew that it was like an avenue, and so I started at that age, and then I started in on camera, which obviously I still do, live action stuff, and then when I was about 7 or 8, the voiceover agent that was at the agency I was with started sending me out on like radio commercials and things like that. And at the time, when you're like a little kid, you don't really think about that being a thing that you can do. You know, it's just like you watching an animated show and you're like, oh, that's the character. You know, you don't think there's somebody behind it that sits in a dark booth and records the voice for it.
Right.
And so then once I kind of got to see into that world, I instantly loved it. And so I really enjoy doing both. And so since then, I've been just working my way up and doing it ever since.
Do you find different challenges when you're just doing the voiceover work as opposed to when you're, on-camera acting? Is there a different technique that you use?
100%, yeah. I mean, ultimately, it all boils down to just acting, but they're two very different things because obviously for on-camera acting, you have to memorize the dialogue, you have to know it all. And you're obviously dressing up like the character, you're actually physically there shooting and stuff, so you have to worry about, where your mark is and where your eyeliner, where you're looking, all that stuff. So I think on camera is probably in that sense. I mean, it's a longer time commitment also because you're shooting for, 12 to 15-hour days as opposed to voiceover where you're, in and out in like 3 hours, So I think live action has more of a time commitment and can be more challenging at times because of all the factors that go into it. But in that way, it can be more rewarding because you have the finished product. You're like, oh wow, and it's fun because you get to actually dress up as the character and kind of fully physically put like physical comedy and physical into it, which is awesome. And then voiceover is different because you're also acting with kind of your hands tied behind your back because you can't convey emotion with the expression on your face or how you're moving and how you're saying things. I mean, it's only through how you're saying things. You have to express being happy or sad through just the kind of tone of your voice. And then also it's nice because it's more chill. You don't have to memorize your lines. You can just read off the script. And then you can show up in whatever the heck you want to wear. It could be you can show up in your underwear. I mean, it's kind of unprofessional. You probably shouldn't do that, but you could if you wanted to.
You didn't show up that way for your interviews.
No, I didn't. Yeah.
Now you're starring on Student Body President, which is a live action.
Yes.
Tyler, right?
Yeah, Mr. Student Body President. I play Tyler, who is the student body president of the high school, Derringer High, who's kind of a true politician, kind of a power-hungry person who likes to manipulate to get kind of what he wants. And it's kind of a political comedy, kind of a dark comedy in a high school. It's like if you put House of Cards in a high school, this is kind of what you would get. So that's a lot of fun doing that show. Our first season, we just released the 5th episode today on Go90, so you can stream all of it on there for free. And yeah, that just came out. It just started airing about 2 weeks ago, so it's very new, obviously.
And now how many episodes?
I think in all the first seasons, 10 episodes. So the 5th one aired today, and then every Thursday a new one will air. So for the next 5 weeks, there'll be episodes until the finale. So that's
And it's shot. It's all done. It's all
done. Yeah, we shot the whole thing in the period of like a month, basically, or like 21 days. The whole season. We shot it all out of order, so it felt like you're just shooting like one long movie in Santa Monica High School, most of it. And so, yeah, that was a crazy shooting schedule. I mean, I'm the lead, and so I'm in almost every scene and almost every shot even. And so I would get there early. I had like 4:30 or 5 a.m. call times, and I'd be there from then until like 7 or 8 p.m. at night, just shooting like all day. And then you go home and have to memorize all your dialogue for the next day. You barely have time to just get like a quick whatever food you had laying around at home that night, and then go to sleep,
Right.
memorize your lines, go back and rinse and repeat for days on end. But it was such a blast. Love that show.
And everybody thinks it's such a glamorous life as an actor, right?
Yeah, I mean it's an amazing opportunity. And I love what I do. It's like the best job in the world. It's a huge blessing, but it definitely there's a lot more that goes into it that people don't see, like the behind the scenes, literally.
Right.
It definitely has its work as well.
Now, what projects do you have that are coming up?
Yeah, so I have that obviously that we just talked about, Student Body President. Check it out. Shameless plug. And we have season 2 of Voltron, Legendary Offender, which I play Lance, coming out in November on Netflix. And then Adventure Time, obviously, we just started recording our 9th season, which is our final season. I think season 8 and season 9 of both haven't aired yet. Adventure Time, so we still got 2 seasons left on that. They'll start airing pretty quick here. And then I also just finished. We're finishing the mixes and mastering right now on me and my band Make Up Monday's new. Our first full-length album, actually. So that'll be releasing hopefully either later this year or like early next year.
Now, when did you get into the music? Was that something you had kind of wanted to do all along, and have been able to present to your fans because of the opportunities you've had acting?
Yeah. I've always had a love for music. Obviously, I mean, I love music, and I've always done singing. But I think initially, singing was just more of a way to kind of round out, I guess, my abilities as an actor, because there's a lot of things that require you to sing as well. So it's just helpful to have. But then as I got older, for a long time I didn't really want to do it because it was like, oh, you could do like a solo, like Justin Bieber type thing, and I was like, I never really liked the idea of that. Not that that style of music isn't great,
right.
But I just didn't like the idea of being like the solo person or not, And so when the opportunity came up with my brother and our 2 close friends to do like in a band setting and to do kind of punk alternative, kind of pop rock music, that interested me because I like the camaraderie of like playing off other people and having a group setting for the collaboration. And so then we started doing it. It's just kind of a fun little side passion project, and now it's become it's getting big. And so I love doing it. And so obviously in the band I sing and I play bass, and that fills up a lot of my free time when I'm not shooting or recording and stuff.
I would imagine playing live too is great to feed off the audience.
So much fun. Yeah, a lot of times if we can, we'll bring the band out to certain Comic-Cons. I'll go for Adventure Time and Voltron and everything else, and then we'll also bring the band out and do like shows at cons. And it's so much fun because you'll see people that are there that are fans of like Adventure Time or whatever else. They're there to see me, and then you'd be like, hey, come out, check music. And usually, they're thinking like, oh, it's this guy's band and probably sucks or whatever else. And so then when they get in the room and you start playing and stuff and they're really digging it, that's an awesome feeling, because then they're a fan of, not even just you from Adventure Time, they're a fan of you, and they actually like the music without having to like force it down their throats, essentially. So that's nice.
Right. It's got to be very gratifying.
Yeah, it is. It's very flattering. Yeah.
Awesome, Jeremy. Thank you so much for taking time to meet with me.
Thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure, and look forward to hearing more good stuff from you soon.
For sure. Thanks.
Thank you.